We'll begin the day, Aggie Baseball. Yesterday, the SEC announced their awards. A&M had a league best. 4 baseball players received first team All-SEC honors. League best. Clayton Freshcorn, Gavin Grahovic, Caden Sorrell, Chris Harkopian. I got a feeling he would have guessed that. That wasn't a stretch. That was a no-doubter. You also had some other Aggies, more awards coming. Freshman All-SEC baseball team, Jorian Wilson, Nico Partita. That doesn't say if they were unanimous, but if they weren't, I want to know who didn't vote for them. But those were, again, easiest, obvious. How did A&M end up third? How did A&M end up as a probable national seed? The Stars all delivered. Grahovic, Harkopian, Sorrell. Freshcorn had a breakout. So in a year of the most unbelievable, I'll say bad pitching, at least you had a closer at the back end who could go 2, 3, and 5 innings once. So the top end delivered, but then you need more than 3 players. The freshmen were pretty incredible, and 2 made the All-SEC freshman team. Also, for all defense SEC, Gavin Grahovic and Caden Sorrell made the all-defensive team too. So the honors came in. League best 4 got first team. The suspects you expect. Grahovic, Harkopian, Sorrell, Freshcorn. 2 made the All-SEC defense in Grahovic, Sorrell. 2 made All-SEC freshmen in Jorian Wilson and Nico Partita. One category, I knew exactly how it was going to turn out. I just wanted to see was the coach of the year. Wes Johnson, Georgia got it. And I expected it. If I was going to Vegas with my money and your money, I'd have bet on Wes Johnson. Georgia was picked like 9th, and they were the champs. They clinched with a whole weekend to go. I will tell you right now, Michael Early is the 1B. He took a team that was picked 13th and got them to 3. He dealt with injuries. He dealt with 1 weekend starter and 1.5 pitchers he could count on in the bullpen. He had a team that went 3-7 on the year in game wins. These things are all real. And he was able to motivate, coach, keep them locked in, deal with all of that adversity. And get them up. I'm going to say potential. I say an expected. That's the word we're going to use. Expected national seed. And they finished 3rd in the SEC. With everything I said. If that ain't coach of the year material, I don't know what is. But I get Georgia picked 9th, not supposed to be hosting. 9th, you make the SEC tournament, you're a participant. Instead, Georgia's an Omaha favorite, SEC champion. I get it. But you need to mention Michael Early every time you say coach of the year. Because if we stop, because when you're in the middle of it, you know, the trees for the forest, you don't see everything. What A&M pulled off, what he was able to get out of this team is absolutely incredible. Improbable, unlikely, beats all statistics, analytics, models, everything you have. It just shouldn't have happened. And that's a testament to him. So I'll say again, he didn't get it. I understand it. Make him 1B. You know how sometimes you see these cheesy awards and they have like 3 players get co coach of the year could have fit really well this year because there were 2 amazing coaching jobs. I know not very many people keep up with Big 12 softball. They had a funny award season where Big 12 softball pitcher of the year was the Oklahoma State pitcher. And if I remember this correctly, after the awards were announced, the league came back and announced Kennedy at Texas Tech as the co-pitcher of the year. After the announcement went out, and the Oklahoma State coach said, what? And, well, it was really weird. They retroactively added a player because she should have. Something really just off the charts weird. It made no sense. I'm not saying the SEC should do it, but we've seen weirder. Michael Early has done an absolutely amazing year. And what fascinates me for the future of Aggie baseball is if this is what his learning curve is, Coach Early, from year 1 to 2, what will he be in 2 to 3 and then potentially 3 to 4? Are you, as an Aggie baseball fan, now fascinated to see his learning curve based on 1 to 2? Are you fascinated to see 2 to 3 and even 3 to 4? Because this is absolutely incredible what has happened. Now, was it all perfect? No, because I think it's obvious they stuck with Sadeo way too long on Fridays. But at what point and I'm talking to myself here too, you just shut up and look at the final results? Final results, 3rd in the league, expected national seed. And then some of the points get refined because that's the final result. Pretty incredible year for Aggie baseball. And I mentioned earlier, toughest teams. And this Aggie baseball team, how did they throw everything you know about baseball out the window? Got to be strong on Friday nights. Nope. Pitching wins championships. Technically, they haven't won anything yet, but they have set up a run to Omaha with almost no pitching. How have they done it? Like the secret sauce in the storyline. And I don't think there's an exact answer. I mean, okay, Lou, offensively, they have mashed and bashed their way. Correct. But there's more to it than this. I mean, I think the word is tough. I've heard football coaches talk about grit, and I think grit absolutely is a word we need to put on this Aggie baseball team, and grit and tough is kind of the same thing. Grit's a little bit deeper, don't you think? And it made me think, it was a last night thing. I was just chilling and mine started to float, but is this Aggie baseball team one of the toughest, grittiest Aggie teams you've ever seen? The sport is not relevant. And you notice I didn't say greatest teams. Notice I didn't say best teams. I didn't say talented. And they are very talented. They had a league best 4 players make all SEC. That was announced yesterday. I just shared that with you. So don't get me wrong. There's tons of talent. You're not going to win these games without talent. You don't just win it on heart and want. You need both, but that's not going to get it done alone, right? How do you overcome a lack of starting pitching, a lack of bullpen, and injuries mixed in to do what they've done? I think this is, I'll go top 3 because I know people want to argue. And this is where I open up the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox so that you could tell me, is this the toughest / grittiest A&M team you've ever seen? And I know we have teams that have won national championships. And they didn't face the adversity necessarily. They had pulled some upsets. They were better than other teams. You know, they were playing at a level all year that indicated it was possible. But this team, 3-7 on game 1 is still just a stat that does not equal maybe even the NCAA tournament, let alone a national seed. And you just look at the way they had to win some of these series. Bryce Jones, barbecue pit master, joins me every Friday from noon till 1, right? On Twitter this weekend, and it was a simple sentence. I don't know if there's 8 words in the sentence, but it's the basic truth. And it's impossible to get momentum for Aggie baseball with the pitching staff they have. You have to overcome early deficits. You can build up a 6-run lead and it's a 1-run lead. Like, it is impossible. And they just marched on. They just kept winning series, kept winning games. Like, their mental is insane. That things that are supposed to destroy other teams, things that other teams always crumble to, teams that historically just, that's why they fail. This baseball team, I don't know to say they were unaffected, but maybe they just ate it up and it made them better. So the question on the table, if you wish to tackle, is this the toughest, grittiest? I'll go like top 3 Aggie teams you've ever seen. If not, who do you got? You can text me. You can share. It's what we do. 979-693-1150. We'll take our first time out. Don't worry. I'll be back. I mean, I hope so. Fingers crossed. It is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. It is Tuesday. We're on the zone.
The Money Machine is open now.
Let's go.
Enter at Zone1150.com, or you can enter through the Zone newsletter to win $5,000.
Come on.
It is the Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. It is Tuesday. Coming up, 12:35, a listen, A&M women's tennis coach, lead player. They met with the media after they got back home last night. Let's hear what they had to say in the celebration. 1 o'clock is Olin Buchanan of Texags. And then 1:50 Community Spotlight. Today we visit with the United Way of the Brazos Valley. Your text messages are more than welcome. People are texting in at 979-693-1150, lighting up the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. And I think toughness/grit and toughness mental really is the key to this Aggie baseball team. And I got a question. Are they one of the 3 toughest A&M teams you've ever seen? And if you want to weigh in who is or isn't and are they, and just text and you can kind of let me know. Yes, no, maybe. Where are you on this kind of thing? Some of the early text messages. Rob Meyer. Howdy. What's up, man? Looking forward to hearing a good visit with OB. Rob at On the Bit Farm, doing what my wife says to do. Happy wife, happy life. Matt in College Station. He's skeptical. He says, the blueprint, end result does matter for the regular season, but now it is elimination season. We cannot afford to just shut up. Changes to be made and be successful, or we are done. Okay, he's skeptical. Fair enough. And then Reno in Pettibone. Louie, this is the grittiest Aggie team I've seen since the... There you go. He's naming one of my other 3. This is the grittiest Aggie team I've seen since the 2008 softball team that made it to the Women's College World Series final. Yep. The injuries they overcame and other things. Yep. That was one of the grittiest teams I've ever seen too. Absolutely. Good one, Reno. Tony Montoya, salty is the perfect description of the 2026 Aggie baseball team. Cuervo Ag. Louie, that's me. To answer your question about the toughest, grittiest teams, our basketball team during ACLS time here and this past season's volleyball national championship team, Peruna in College Station. Louie, that's me. If you're asking for the most relentless, toughest Aggie team I've ever seen, it was the 1977 team. Watched from the sideline as they curb stomped my Mustangs and got yelled at for 3.5 hours. So some of the early samplings, 979-693-1150. This Aggie baseball team, I think, just one of the grittiest, toughest A&M teams I've ever seen. Overcoming everything they've had to be where they're at. That's what I think is the secret. You can weigh in on that. What's the toughest, grittiest A&M team you've ever seen? Do you think this Aggie baseball team is one of the top 3? What do you think the secret of this Aggie baseball team is? Because nothing adds up to where they are. 979-693-1150. The week ahead as they enter SEC tournament play, which, by the way, with the double bye, will be Friday night. Ranking 10, D1 Baseball, 13, Baseball America, 9 in USA Today, 11, the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association, and 12 in Perfect Game. None of that matters. All that matters is what the committee says on Sunday. We have, I mentioned this yesterday, and I finally looked it up to get it 100% correct. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, A&M, Georgia, Auburn, Texas have the most weekend series wins versus projected number ones. And it's little inside the numbers, things like that make me feel good/great about A&M being a national seed. A&M, Georgia, Auburn, Texas, most weekend series wins versus projected number ones. And it's 3. That's one of those advantages to SEC life. 3. Something, we're shifting out of the Aggie baseball world, but something, I meant to mention it yesterday, but I'm a really awful sports talk show host. Like, I don't remember half the things I should remember half the time. It's okay. We'll get through this together. But over the weekend, A&M clinch the Lone Star Showdown. If you're not familiar, the Lone Star Showdown is the head-to-head yearly competition with Texas. It's the Lone Star Showdown. And the winner gets a trophy, and I think there's scholarship money too. And look, it don't matter what you get. It's A&M versus Texas, the athletic department's head-to-head. Texas won the first 2. And during that time, Texas quite cocky. When the original announcement was the Lone Star Showdown was back, Texas basically said, why did A&M agree to this? Because the Aggies will never win it. Many a Longhorn put forth that statement. And then A&M won the first 2, and every year you had to hear the same basic sentiments. Well, A&M has destroyed Texas this year in the Lone Star Showdown. It wasn't close. You just had to wait for it to be mathematically impossible. A&M destroyed them. Soccer, volleyball, baseball, women's golf, women's tennis, women's indoor and outdoor, men's indoor and outdoor. It goes on. But A&M beat Texas in the Lone Star Showdown. Now, you beat Texas, and it could be in jacks, marbles, jump rope. Beating Texas is always a good time. This whole showdown falls under the same umbrella that we were talking about yesterday, how the A&M athletic department, the national championships are rolling in, great cause for celebration. The A&M athletic department is in this phenomenal place. But one of the big 3 needs to break out and break through. You need a natty in one of those 3 to cement what's built. It's not being built, it's built. You need one of those in the big 3 to finish this. If you look at the big 3, Texas is kind of ahead of A&M or equal in all of them. More predictive of winning a national championship first than A&M, yet Texas is only 2 years in their SEC membership. It's a little frustrating. I believe you would agree it's a little frustrating. Texas football has been to more college football playoffs. Texas football is the favorite to win the SEC. Texas football is the favorite to win the national championship already. So it's A&M won the Lone Star Showdown. Do you want to know what the best part of that is for me? If you exist in the social universe, right? The Longhorns spent 2 years chirping with their wins and doing the Longhorn arrogance thing. Because sometimes you have to debate what's worse, is actual losing to them or when they open their mouths. I think it's worse when they speak because their arrogance you choke on it. It's just horrific. Well, the mental gymnastics of how A&M didn't really. There's one Longhorn fan, super fan, whatever he is, who under the revised scoring system he came up with, A&M really lost, which is hysterical. Oh my gosh. See, that's what I love. Watching people become so delusional, so full of garbage, that they have if you really want to look at it, well, we didn't really look at it when Texas won the first 2 years. So now you really want to look at it. And then when you really look at it, let's throw out all the sports A&M won at, or take the sports that A&M won at, but we're going to do a scoring system that winning doesn't. It was awesome to know that there's such pain by losing it that they've lost their freaking minds. For me, that's why the Lone Star Showdown matters. If you can inflict that much pain upon the Longhorn psyche, I want to win the Lone Star Showdown every year. That it was a great victory, if you ask me. May we keep the trophy forever, because it was awesomely hilarious. Having, you know how it goes on socials too, nothing dies. Having all the old quotes and now memeing the, why did A&M even agree to this? Oh, the pain and the horror, just so good. Just highlight of the weekend almost, in which it was a great sports weekend. But yeah, Lone Star Showdown, because I don't know if now you'll donate an extra $1 knowing they're beating the Longhorns straight up in the showdown, or if this got you fist pumping and you're going to throw a celebration for it. But the fan side of me feels warm, fuzzy, and happy knowing the pain it caused the Longhorn psyche. That's all I need. I'm not a demanding person. But that, I can eat on that. Not sure about you. Congrats. And the other value, besides the pain and suffering of others, is, I'll just say again, it is another statement of the state of the A&M athletic department that we've been talking about, that unless you're blind or just you're a boss and you'll never recover, is obvious to everyone of A&M athletics. The trend where they're just winning. Some may want more, some may want other sports. No problem, no argument, but trending and there. That is the A&M athletic department. And I'm not going to say this every time, but one of the big three, break out, break through, and get it done. And that just finishes. And I think A&M become one of those top 5, inarguably, athletic departments where the whole world will then acknowledge. But it feels good to be an Aggie right now. I think you can be proud as opposed to woe's me and why do we never. I think all that has to go on break for a while. I do. I think it's time to enjoy. I think you should enjoy it, because if you can't this, again, don't know if I can help you. 979-693-1150. That's my text message number. When we return, Aggie football. Aggie football. I told you our first hour together is a maroon and white world, and we're all just living in it. So a little Aggie football when we return. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. That's CC Electric. It's the Louie Bellina Show on the Zone.
Can't reach your radio? Listen to Aggie Baseball online at radioaggieland.com.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio on a Tuesday. In uncertain times, Charles Schwab remains invested in their clients by offering personalized guidance and clarity. And it's personalized because we got Mark Sim, right here in College Station. He lives here, eats here, goes to the games too. And you can contact Mark right here in College Station to get answers to your questions, or you can just go learn more at schwab.com/College Station. Schwab.com/College Station. A couple of quick text messages. Nick in Milam County. 91 football team was bad, bleep, tough as hell, feared by all. Dale and Tabor. This season, the Aggies are winning with true grit. The way they hang in there is reminiscent of last year's comebacks from a 10-run deficit to South Carolina. 2 grand slams in the ninth to walk it off. That and the South Carolina football game last year, classics. Thank you, Dale and Tabor. The question on the table, this year's Aggie baseball team, are they one of the toughest, grittiest Aggie teams any sport you've ever seen? Top 3 at least. Who is the toughest A&M team you've ever seen? You can light up the Texas Mobile and Loop Express inbox. I mentioned Aggie football. Athlon Sports, I guess they're previewing their magazine. I don't think their college football magazine is out. One of the things they do, and it's awesome, they do a great job. The Athlon football magazine is still a phenomenal, great read. But they talk to anonymous coaches in the leagues to talk about the teams in the league, and they put it in the magazine, and you just get some great, it's simple but great read, great insights. And an anonymous coach commented on A&M in the Athlon Sports College Football magazine. An anonymous coach commented on A&M. Simple. Quote, Mike Elko is a real deal ball coach. They play complete team football. You watch them and you see the way they handle adversity at times throughout the season. That doesn't just happen unless you've got a culture. And simple, straightforward, but isn't that kind of everything with Aggie football under Mike Elko since the day he got here? Like a couple of the past A&M football coaches, Aggie football was run a little bit like a circus. When the coach is out at concerts and, you know, that's headlines. Think about, and I talked to Olin a couple of times, and maybe even Tony Catalina about this, but how quiet the offseason is. But let us be honest with each other. What is the offseason supposed to be like? Are players supposed to be arrested for being horrible drivers? Are players supposed to be so bored that they go looking for trouble and they do epically stupid things to jeopardize their college football careers? Like, why is there supposed to be drama and headline? It's not. We all know this, but why did it at one point seem normal that they're supposed to be stupid in the spring? It's not. And with Mike Elko, and from his opening press conference, the way he talks about things, he kind of runs things professionally. You talk about culture, right? And it's here's the expectation. Here's the outline. Here's the blueprint. And if you can't do it, you just won't be here. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to negotiate about it. There's no, look, here's your 9th warning. Okay, here's your 10th. My bad. Like it all seems so just, I hate to say matter-of-factly and just honestly and simply, you know. And if you can hold players that accountable, how much easier is practice and game days and everything when everyone's accountable? As opposed to, I can screw up all game long and still start the next week and no one holds me accountable. If you're not accountable day to day, how are you accountable in a game? And quiet is good. It might not be as exciting and there's not as much to talk about, but I'll ask again, what should there be to talk about in all fairness? Because in spring football, if they're changing the entire offense, they don't hand you the playbook or show it to you. If there's position changes, you just see like 3 practices when they're warming up, and there shouldn't be conversation. And then this coach talking about you watch them in the game. He's a high IQ coach. And you would expect his teams are prepared for every situation. Should there be like the surprise? Not going to be with him, is there? Simple stuff, but I like the quiet version. Quiet to me is good. Because that's how Elko runs things, where they're taking care of business. They're not, I don't know. I guess players that are me, look at me, and it's about me, probably don't fit Elko and his culture. Us. Do your job. Coach Elko was at the Coaches Night San Antonio yesterday. He was, Dallas last week? But San Antonio. Let me read with you, and it probably fits in line with what we were just saying. Just one little quote from him from San Antonio. Integrity is something that keeps our program quiet. As proud as I am about our 11th win season, I'm also proud to set records for GPA again. Yearly APR of 1,000 again, and another quiet offseason with Texas A&M football. Integrity is something that keeps our program quiet. So a coach, coordinators, staff, and you count all the GAs and the consultants and everyone. It is impossible for them to monitor 100, 105, whatever the new cap is, players 24/7. How are you going to keep players in line from doing something stupid, from smoking in the locker room after a game, from leaving curfew on a Friday night and going out to a party? Just epically, tragically, horrifically stupid things. Accountability, integrity, responsibility. Don't recruit those players in the first place, too. Doesn't hurt, but you get the point, right? Integrity is something that keeps our program quiet. Integrity is something that keeps our program quiet. And another quiet offseason with Texas A&M football. Pretty straightforward. So that's our cue. If it ever gets loud, understand something's wrong. That's the other part. If it ever gets loud, there's something not clicking. Moving on, still Aggie football. I saw two different worlds. I think one was SEC Mike and the other was, CBS Sports just used the FanDuel odds. And both of them did summer SEC power rankings. How many different power rankings? And I was used to way. But I feel like I've gotten updated power rankings weekly now, and I don't know if we need that many, but okay, whatever. It's entertainment purposes only. We'll all live together. Both have A&M at 5. Both. SEC, FanDuel odds, if you do the power rankings, A&M's at 5. And then SEC Mike has A&M at 5. Now, let me ask a question here, because it's a thought that's hurt my head. One of them mentions Marcel Reed returns at quarterback alongside Mario Craver, Terry Bussey, and Ashton Bethel Roman at wide receiver. Anything, any source, any write-up that mentions wide receiving corps and doesn't have Horton, what am I supposed to do with that? I understand. Maybe I'm being too much of an a-hole with that one, but because gosh knows I make mistakes. I make one mistake every 8 years. But you're going to mention the A&M wide receiving corps and you don't have Horton. I'm supposed to be like, It just, a question mark popped up in my head. A&M at 5. They do mention that they expect the A&M D-line to be as awesome as last year, even though there's no Cassius Howell. And it's not just Cassius Howell, man. They lost both those D tackles who I thought were silently rocks. They're both NFL D tackles. But they like Hicks and they like Cersei. And, of course, everybody's high on Saka and Marco Jones could break out. There's just so many options is the point in the D-line. But it's a rebuilt front seven because it'll be also with the injury, 2 new linebackers, 3 new D-line. It's the front seven. It's not just any, don't pick one. It's a front new seven. New front seven on the D. But both have A&M at 5. And I always say, if you want to argue, the best thing to do is who's in front of them. Well, A&M at 5 And one of them has Ole Miss 4, LSU 3. That's the odds. Well, that's betting. And people are going to put money on LSU. And I think that's just trying to steal money by putting LSU at those odds, and people are going to take them. So I don't know if that's a true power ranking. SEC Mike had LSU at 7, and that's closer to right. Oklahoma at 2 strikes me as clickbait. Their defense is probably 2, but to think their offense will take that much progress forward, and it's just one person's opinion, and arguing at opinions is rough, right? But I got to sell that. I got to sell OU at 2. Ole Miss at 4, and that's both. I don't see teams that A&M can't or shouldn't. Yesterday I was talking about the volatility of college football is how incomplete these rosters are, how huge the question marks actually are for each team. So A&M at 5, worst case is a hold. There's no sell on that. Because if Ole Miss is 4, you can't guarantee me or tell me that A&M should finish behind Ole Miss. OU, A&M, that'll be decided in Norman. Maybe the only 2 teams that should definitively start in front of A&M is Georgia and Texas. Other than that, I don't see a single SEC team that should preseason, start of the season, be in front of A&M in the power rankings. There's not one other team that should start in front. None. Because they all got these. It comes down to your taste at that point. Elko and his staff proved last year they can answer a lot of question marks because there were 5 entering the season and went 5 for 5. And I look at the others. LSU, well, they got 50 new roster players. Bama at 8. And I think it's 7 in the other. When was last time Bama was just middle of the pack? Maybe that's what, when I say quiet, maybe that's exactly what DeBoer in Alabama needs, is a no pressure to start. When I say no pressure, okay, I'm sure in Tuscaloosa, it's nothing but flaming chairs of death and heat all around them. Maybe no pressure from outside, but I'm sure in the state, in the city of, I'm sure it's pretty blazing. So I take that. Can I rescind that? Can I take that back? Well, I just did. We will return. We'll wrap up our first hour together. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. They do free estimates, and they have military and veteran discounts too. They're CC Electric.
The Money Machine is open now. Two ways to enter each week.
Oh, come on. Don't keep us in suspense.
Zone1150.com and the Zone newsletter.
Thank you.
It is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, Residential, Commercial, Industrial Services. It's what they do at CC Electric. Do you want a text message? I got one. Landon, driving 100 miles per hour in Athens. Man, if they were driving 100 miles per hour in Athens, they might not get pulled over. That would be the slow lane for the Georgia football players. It is unreal. I don't know what their culture is, but cars and racing seem to be a part of their culture. And Kirby Smart could stop it if he wanted to, but he hasn't. I'll just leave it there. But he hasn't. 100? That's the slow lane for Georgia. I did want to wrap up our first hour together inside the lifestyles portion of the Louie Bellina Show. There's a new survey, simple as can be. America's favorite pizza chain. America's favorite pizza chain. And it's fascinating. I can't remember the last time I ordered to have a pizza delivered. I used to do it all the time. I'm a pizza junkie. I love pizza. Who doesn't? Wow, what a revelation, Lou. You love pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? I mean, trying to think, pizza is one of my 3 to 5 favorite foods in the universe. I used to live on pizza. At one point, I had a pizza named after me in town, Big Jim. And it was like the Louie Bellina special, and it was simple. It was a double cheese, double pepperoni, and the little secret was they put the Parmesan cheese on it before it went in the oven. So the Parmesan cheese would bake on it, and the Parmesan cheese kind of activated differently. And, oh, man, Every single bite had that parm flavor baked in. It was glorious. It was glorious. I miss it. But you get to a certain age and you can't eat a large pie by yourself every day or every other day, and you get diabetic and you make choices and things. So I haven't had a pizza delivered. I've had pizza every blue moon, but delivered, man, it's been a long time. So who do you think is America's favorite pizza chain? I don't know if you heard about this, but some CEO, maybe it was the old Pizza Inn CEO, he bought 80 of his old stores and he's going back to the old school days. He's going back to buffets. He's going back to the red cups. Like, he believes that people want what it was. People want what it was. So they're just doing it the way that it used to be. People want the sit down, family, old school experience. I want to see if this works. He could start a new food revolution, going back to how it was. I'm fascinated by that. Hope it works. But back to the one question I am asking. According to the survey, Pizza Hut is still America's favorite pizza chain. 19% said it's their preferred place for a mass order. Domino's, 17%. And 22%, it's the biggest number, right? Said they like a local or regional brand. So the largest majority of people, pizza chain, that's not a chain, but 22% say they like some local or regional brand. But the favorite pizza chain, Pizza the Hut. My favorite pizza, it's a local. It's not regional. It's a local by far. Oh, I got to go. I'll be right back. This is the Louie Bellina Show.